Alright, YouTube. So, did some changes to it again. It's got taillights on it now. How do they work? Well, I eliminated the handbrake already. I welded the bracket on here, which I realize now, but I don't know why I really should have. I should have just bolted it down. But, because, you know, I could just drill holes and bolt them down. But, anyways, we're going to leave it on. We're not going to cut it off quite yet, because we're going to see, because I'm planning on getting also a tachometer on this thing, which you can simply just hook up to a spark plug wire, and it'll read the it'll read the impulses from the spark and actually use that to measure RPMs with the gauge. So I'm going to leave that on there because if it were to get mounted, it would get mounted out on the side here, away from the steering wheel. So this plate may actually be needed to mount that. If I'm getting it, it may be a while yet. What I have going underneath here is I switched the brake system around. Now it's just hooked directly up to there. I just have a cable. I used a wire cable instead and just ran that across there. Right there. And then there's a spring on the back to pull back, because this is a cable. Now it's the same spring and stuff. I sprayed a little bit of a lubricant on that on the grass, because I think the brake actually drags because those little pins inside there get stuck. But let me show you some what I did. So here's how it's controlled. So the center is neutral. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get a little latch that goes into the center here. And this here's the parking brake. So when I put this all the way back, it sets the parking brake. Alright. Here's my one issue. Well, let me first show you. So, parking brake will be on, and I just pull that up. Problem is, I used to use this as the neutral, so I used to push this all the way back, and then it would be neutral. Because I have it set so that way you can't take it out of gear. It's just got one speed, which is the full speed in the transmission. Now you can switch the gears by moving the shifter over with a little lever that I'm going to be mounting on there. In case you have to get into neutral or you just want to make it go slower, you can switch it to one of the other gears. Kind of a waste of all them gears inside there, but well. So down here I actually have an old safety switch that I have wired up to here. And what the safety switch does is it actually goes down to the bottom here, and it actually goes and it creates a circuit. So watch what happens now. So I'm going to go push down on the brakes. I'm just going to push them down. Now right now the brakes won't be activated till about here. And then the lights turn on. Definitely going to get some lube on that one too. See that? And you don't actually feel the tension right till it kicks on. It took me a while to get it to adjusted like that. And that's when you pull it back, that's when it goes. Push forward, it stops. And in the middle, I'm going to actually just probably take an old door latch like thing, and I'm just going to set it right here so that way I can keep it in neutral, and I won't have to push that back into neutral. So that way when I go to push it out, all I got to do is just lever this. This is in between the brake, and yet the belt is loose and the brake is off at this position right here. So I'll be able to move the tractor by hand, like if it runs out of gas or something. So just that one pedal, it's a whole bunch of stuff to it, but that's how it was before. That was brake and clutch. So you'd actually push back all the way. It not only reaches the clutch, but it goes on the brake. And most tractors are like that. Even the modern ones that are mostly hydrostatic nowadays, but the ones that are still have a transaxle do that. Here's one problem. When I wired this up, I didn't really think of how I was going to do that. But I wired it up so if I want to set the parking brake, these lights are always going to be on. So what I need to do is, instead of wiring it directly up to the positive, because the other wire is ground, so if I wired it up directly to the positive, and instead of wiring the positive wire coming from the key ignition, and I wired out the battery's dead because I've been testing these lights out and I had them on for so long. But if I hook this up to the light for this, right here's the wire, connects into there. If If I hook that wire up, instead of hooking it up to here, I hook it up to one of these wires that emit power when the key is turned. Well, then we won't have to worry about that problem about that brake always being on, because of course it's going to drain the battery if I set the parking brake. So that's the next step to do, but I'd like to test it out. So I'm going to test it out on my own. I'm not going to really make a video of it. You ain't going to notice anything different than when I used the handbrake, but I kind of like now that the handbrake's gone. It was kind of weird just being there. Looks more like a go-kart now, Thing's awesome. Alright, take care, YouTube. I'll let you know how well it works. Haven't tested the brakes yet when it's moving. The only other thing I'm worried about is, at these high speeds, these transmissions driven about 5 or 6 times overdriven, meaning it goes 5 or 6 times faster than it should. And I ain't gonna make it go any faster. I've seen people get these things up to 50 miles an hour with these transmissions. Wow. But they're usually the ones that eventually wear the transmissions out much faster. My suggestion, just keep it around 30 miles an hour. You don't need your lawnmower to go. I mean, if it goes more than the speed it goes, maybe like 15 miles an hour, then it's supposed to, well, it'll still be pretty interesting, But 30, wow, Or, well, 30 is wow, yeah, but 50, wow, that's just insane. You don't even hear the engines running, even if you have them straight pipe. You just hear the transmission screaming. But the only problem is that it spins extremely fast, so I'm afraid it's going to wear down the brake pads. Well, it's a Peerless Trans. It's easy to get parts for, but, Actually, look on the back. This is out of the other one. It says Tecumseh, but then it says Peerless. And you actually have the number on here. I actually want to spray some clear coat on that so that sticker stays on there. It obviously did for the past. This transmission's been mowing grass since I was a baby, so I mean, not on this tractor, but I put this transmission in this tractor out of my dad's old lawn tractor. It was like a Murray Lawn General. This is the transmission, it's the numbers for it, so I can always easily find parts for it. No, that'll be nice. You actually look inside there, yeah, you can't really see through the camera in there. You can see the wire and stuff on the inside there. See? And it goes down right out to the back here. I actually wanted these. I might actually re-drill these holes from here. And I may make them go up on behind the fender so that way you don't notice these wires here, which is probably what I'll do. And then the wire, it's just a single yellow wire that I put in there. Goes up to the front to the safety switch. And then the other wire just hooks up to the red. And the black wire that's on the inside here, it's just a ground wire, just hooks up right directly to the fender. So it actually gets that current through the mounting bolts because the whole tractor is negative. It's negative ground, So the whole tractor is positive. Well, I guess you could have it like that, but that would be, I know they don't do that nowadays anymore. So I'm going to eliminate some of them wires. Some of them aren't even hooked up. They're just the old electronic wires. So I'm going to jump start it and take it for a spin. There's a little gas in it, so this I got to get new for, oh, I explained that already.